Hello students, welcome to Interconnecting Physics. Today in this video we will learn about potentiometer and its applications. So without wasting time, let's get started. For regular updates you can follow me on given links. So before moving toward potentiometer, let us understand some basic concepts about EMF and terminal potential difference. In last video we learned about relation between EMF and terminal potential difference, that is V equal to E minus IR, where V is terminal potential difference, E is EMF of a cell, I is current flowing in the circuit and small r is the internal resistance of the cell. This is the circuit. Okay. V. What is E basically? E is the potential difference of the potential difference between the terminals of a cell when no current is drawn from the cell. When no current is drawn from the cell. For example, a new cell from the market, when it is not in the use, then potential difference of that cell is called as EMF of the cell. Okay. But when that cell is used in some circuit, in some torch, in some battery or in any kind of circuit and some current is drawn from that cell, then after drawing some current from that cell, the left potential difference between the terminals of a cell is called as terminal potential difference. Okay. And what is the relation between EMF and terminal potential difference? Terminal potential difference is equal to EMF of the cell minus I into R. Okay. EMF of the cell is always greater than the terminal potential difference of the cell. Why? Because EMF of the cell is the potential difference between the terminals of the cell when no current is drawn from the cell. Suppose you have bought a cell from the market having potential 1.5 volt written on it. Okay. So when it is not in the use, then the potential difference is called as EMF of the cell. But when it is used in some circuit, then the potential difference which we measure may be 1.3 or 1.4 volt. It is not equal to 1.5 volt. Why? Because due to internal resistance of the cell, this terminal potential difference has been decreased from the EMF of the cell, and moreover some current has been drawn from that cell. So left potential difference is called terminal potential difference of the cell. And what is the relation between internal resistance of the cell and external resistance which is used in the circuit? So internal resistance is equal to E divided by V minus 1 into R. Okay. How we calculate it? We know in this circuit I equal to EMF divided by total resistance. What is total resistance? This internal resistance of cell and this external resistance of the circuit, both are in series, and when resistances are in series, total resistance is R plus R. Okay. So R plus R. Now what is the relation between EMF TPD? It is V equal to E minus IR. So put the value of I here. Okay. So V equal to E minus R E divided by R plus R. Now when we take LCM and calculate, we get R, small r equal to E minus V minus 1 into R. Okay. So these were the basic concepts which we are going to use in case of potentiometer. So what is potentiometer? It is a type of circuit or it is a device. You can say it is a type of circuit or it is a device. Both are correct. But more appropriate definition is it is a type of circuit which is used to measure EMF of a cell, internal resistance of a cell and comparison between the EMFs of two given cells. One by one, we will see in this video how potentiometer is used to find the EMF of a cell, internal resistance of a cell and comparison between the EMF of two given cells. So let us discuss principle of the potentiometer. The principle of potentiometer is the potentiometer works on the principle that when a constant current flows through a wire of uniform cross-sectional area. Constant current, one thing is current should be constant. Number two, uniform. The wire which we are going to use should have uniform area of cross section, that means area is also constant. So when constant current flows through a wire of uniform cross-sectional area, potential difference between any two points is directly proportional to length of the wire between the 2 points. I know this definition seems to be very difficult for you, but in next page we will learn about this principle in detail. Okay, so let us come to potentiometer. This is the potentiometer. Okay, you know what is meter bridge? Why meter bridge is called meter bridge? Because in meter bridge the wire which we use is of length 1 meter. Okay, in case of potentiometer, the wire which we are going to use in case of potentiometer is basically 7 to 8 meter long. Okay, in some circuit it is 4 meter long, in some circuit it is 10 meter long, in some circuit it is 7 to 8 meter long. Okay, so if we use 4 meter or 10 meter or 7 to 8 meter long wire in a straight way, then apparatus will be very big. Okay, so for our convenience, what we do, we use this wire in segments. Okay, and the length of each segment is 1 meter. Okay, do you understand? If we use 7 to 8 meter long wire in a straight path, what will happen? The experiment will be, the apparatus will be very large and it will be very difficult for anyone to use that apparatus. So what we do? We use this wire, we use this 7 to 8 meter wire in segments, and the length of each segment is 1 meter, and we attach these segments with the help of copper strips. Okay, so now what is the material of this wire? The material of this wire is manganese or constantan. Why we use manganese and constantan here? Because manganese and constantan are basically metallic alloys. They are basically metallic alloys, and in case of metallic alloys, especially in manganese and constantan, resistivity of the wire is very high. Resistivity of wire is very high, and temperature coefficient of resistivity, that is alpha, this is positive, but it is less positive. Less positive means with the increase in temperature, resistivity increases to a very small extent, and that we can neglect. Okay, with the increase in temperature, resistivity increases negligibly small, so we can neglect that value. So we can say that with the increase in temperature, basically resistivity of the wire is not increasing, it is constant. Okay, so that's why we use manganese or constant. Instead of manganese or constant, if we use copper wire, then what will happen? Copper is a metal, and for metal alpha is very high. What is alpha? Alpha is temperature coefficient of resistivity. That means for metals, when in temperature increases, resistivity increases to very high value. So that's why we use manganese or constant, because in case of manganese and constant, what will happen? With increase in temperature, resistivity of the wire is increased to very small extent, and that extent we can neglect. So we can say that with increase in temperature, there is no effect on the resistivity of the wire. So we can do our experiment very easily because we will not bother about the resistivity of the wire. So that's why we use manganese or constant. Because when current flows through a circuit, heating effect will come to play. So due to heating effect, temperature will increase in the circuit. So when temperature will increase, automatically if we use copper wire here, resistivity of the copper wire will increase. So we will not come to end with appropriate results of our experiment. So that's why we use manganese or constant, so that if temperature increases in the circuit, resistivity of the wire is increased to very small extent. So we can say that when temperature increases, there is no effect on the resistivity of the wire. Okay. And number two, why we use these copper strips? These copper strips have negligible resistivity. Okay, and with the help of these copper strips, these segments of the wires are basically in series. If you are asked in exam, these segments are in parallel or in series. So you can say that these segments, these all segments of the wire are basically in series with the help of these copper strips. And these copper strips have negligible small resistivity. Okay. And these copper strips have negligible resistivity. Okay. So this is the potentiometer. Here at point A, we use battery and the positive terminal of the battery or cell is connected to point A. Then we use ammeter in series. Ammeter is used to measure the current in the circuit, and this is the rheostat. It is used to decrease or increase the resistance in the circuit, mean it is used to control the current in the circuit. So it is the key, it acts like a switch. When we close this, current starts flowing from positive terminal to negative terminal, and if we open it, so current will not flow through the circuit. Okay. And at point A, we attach galvanometer and jockey in series. Okay. So this is all about potentiometer. So let us come to construction. What we write in construction? We write in construction, potentiometer consists of a long wire of uniform cross-sectional area and of 7 to 8 meter long. The material of the wire should have high resistivity and low temperature coefficient. So this wire is mainly made of metallic alloy such as manganese and porcelain. The wire is segmented into small parts, each part of 1 meter long, stretched out on a wooden board. Okay, the whole experiment is stretched on a wooden board. The wires are joined in series by using thick copper strips of negligible resistivity. A meter scale is attached on the wooden board. Okay, a meter scale is attached here. So this was the construction of potentiometer. Let us come to understand the principle of the potentiometer. So in order to understand the principle of potentiometer, we have to understand the primary circuit of the potentiometer. Okay. In exam, you will not draw this diagram. Okay. This is only for understanding. You have to draw this diagram. Okay, where AB is the potentiometer wire. Where AB is the potentiometer wire, you can write AB equal to 4 meter, or you can write AB equal to 7 to 8 meter long, or you can write AB equal to 10 meter long. Okay, in exam sometimes you are given with that length of potentiometer wire is 4 meter long or 7 to 8 meter long. Here AB is potentiometer wire. Okay, in this diagram we have shown this wire in segments, but for our convenience we just write AB is the potentiometer wire. So at A we attach a battery or a cell, then rheostat, then ammeter, then key, and this is the circuit of the potentiometer, simplest circuit of the potentiometer, and this is called as the primary circuit of the potentiometer. And this cell which we use here, this is called as standard cell, and this is not that cell for which we are going to measure the EMF of the cell. Okay, so this is the standard cell, this is the rheostat, and this is the primary circuit of the potentiometer. Now what is the objective of the primary circuit of the potentiometer? Let us see. Okay, now this standard cell or standard battery, we know the value of EMF of this cell. Okay, because this battery basically maintains the current in the circuit. When we close this key, this battery basically maintains current in the circuit. So we know the EMF of this battery. This rheostat, we know the value of rheostat because we have to decrease the resistance, we have to increase the resistance. It means we know the value of resistance here because it is in our hand. Okay, and then this is potentiometer wire, and we know the length of potentiometer wire, whether it is 4 meter long, 7 to 8 meter long, 10 meter long. If you are given with experiment, you know the value of length of the potentiometer wire, and the resistivity or resistance of the potentiometer wire is also known. Okay, so let us calculate the current flowing in the circuit. So current flowing in the circuit according to Ohm's law, V equal to IR. What is I? I equal to V over R. So what is V here? V here is EMF of this cell. So I equal to E divided by this R rheostat and this potentiometer wire resistance. Both are in series. So we can write E divided by R plus RH. Okay, you are always given with resistivity or resistance of the potentiometer wire. Now we calculated the current. Now we can calculate the potential difference across this wire. We can calculate potentiometer across this wire. Okay. So what is potential difference? V equal to I into R. So what is I? I is E divided by R plus R H into R. So this is the potential difference we calculated in potentiometer wire. Now you see here current is flowing from positive to negative. We are also going from positive to negative. That means here potential will be dropped. Okay, because we are going from positive to negative. So there will be potential drop. If we are going from negative to positive, there will be potential gain. So that means when we move along this wire from A to B, every time there will be potential drop. Why? Because we are going from positive to negative. We are going from higher potential to lower potential. So that means there will be potential drop. And we know the length of the wire. When we divide this potential difference with the length of the wire, what we get? We get here potential gradient. Okay, this is called as potential gradient because we know the value of V, we know the value of L. That means we know the value of potential gradient. Potential gradient means with the increase of length, potential is decreasing. Automatically potential is decreasing because we are going from positive terminal to negative. So that means there will be potential drop. If we move from negative to positive, there will be potential gain. But this time we are moving from positive to negative. That means with increase in length, potential is decreasing. And this quantity is called as potential gradient. So that means the main objective of the primary circuit of the potentiometer is to establish the potential gradient in the primary circuit. So we have established the potential gradient in the circuit. How? Because we know the current value, we know potential difference across the wire because we know the current. We put this value here and we will calculate potential difference across the wire, and when we divide this potential difference with the length of the potentiometer wire, we will get potential gradient. So this was the main objective of the primary circuit of the potentiometer. Okay. Now let us understand this with some example. Suppose we are given with potential gradient K equal to 0.4 volt per centimeter. Volt per centimeter is the unit of potential gradient because potential difference is measured in volts. Okay, and length is measured in meter. But when we move across this wire, we see centimeters, not meters. So we can write these volt per centimeter. Okay, this is not SI unit, but potential gradient here unit is volt per centimeter. So suppose we are given with K equal to 0.4 per centimeter and potential at point A is given 20 volts. So this is 20 volt here. Okay. So now when we move 10 centimeter from the wire at point A towards point B, when we move here to here 10 centimeter away, so that let us say this point is C. Okay. So what will be the potential drop? You are asked that at point C what will be the drop in potential. So we can calculate because K equal to V into L. Okay. K is given, that is 0.4 volt per centimeter. L is given, that is 10 centimeter. Okay. So we can calculate V equal to K into L. What is K? 0.4 volt per centimeter. And what is L? It is 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter cancels out with centimeter. 0.4 into 10, which is equal to 4 volt. So that means what will be the potential drop here? 4 volt. So 20 minus 4 will be 16 volts. That means when we come at point C, the potential will be 16 volt. So from point A to C, there is potential drop of 4 volt. So that means if we move 10 centimeter further from C to B, there will be again potential drop, and the potential will be here 12 volt because 16 minus 4 is 12 volt. So that means when we move from A to B, there will be potential drop across this wire. Okay. So that means V equal to K into L. Okay. V equal to K into L. K is given, K is constant. So that means V is directly proportional to L. And this is the underlying principle of the potentiometer. Let us come to definition of principle of potentiometer. What was it? The potentiometer works on the principle that when constant current flows through a wire, okay, of uniform cross-sectional area, potential difference between any 2 points is directly proportional to length of the wire between the 2 points. Potential difference between any 2 points. This was A, B, and B were 10 centimeter away from the point A. So this was 10 centimeter. Okay. So potential difference between any 2 points. Potential difference between A and C. Any 2 points. Okay. That is V, which is equal to K, length of the wire between the 2 points. Length of the wire. Let us say this is L. So L. Now K is constant. That means V is directly proportional to L. So this is the underlying principle of the potentiometer, that is potential difference between any 2 points of the potentiometer wire is directly proportional to the length of the wire between these 2 points. Okay, because we use this formula V equal to K into L. We put the value of K, we put the value of L, and that was 4 volt. Again we move 10 centimeter, potential drop will be 4 volt. Again we move 10 centimeter, potential drop will be 4 volt. So that means K is constant. Okay, and V is directly proportional to L. So this is the underlying principle of the potentiometer. So this was the main objective of primary circuit of the potentiometer, that is we have to establish potential gradient, and once we establish the potential gradient in case of primary circuit, we come to the conclusion of principle of the potentiometer, that is V is directly proportional to L. So this was the main aim of the primary circuit. Now let us understand the applications of potentiometer. But first of all, let us understand the schematic diagram of potentiometer which we use in laboratory. So this is the potentiometer which we use in laboratory. Here, what is the length of the wire? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here, length of the potentiometer wire is 10 meter long. And this is the scale. Okay, and every segment is of 1 meter long. This is point A with point A. You see here, with point A we have attached battery. So with point A we have battery, then we have key, then we have rheostat. So this is the potentiometer. Now let us see the applications of potentiometer. How is it used to measure the EMF of a cell? How is it used to measure the internal resistance of a cell? And how is it used to compare the EMFs of two cells? Okay. So come to the first application, that is to find the EMF of the cell. So the cell for which we are going to measure the EMF, we attached the cell at point A. Okay, this is not the cell whose EMF to be measured. This is the cell whose EMF is to be measured. This is the standard cell. This is the driver cell. Okay, this is the part of primary circuit. This whole is primary circuit. Okay. With primary circuit at point A, we attach here cell whose EMF is to be calculated, and this is called as experimental cell. Okay. This is called as experimental cell whose EMF is to be measured here using this primary circuit of the potentiometer. What we do, always remember the positive point of this battery, the positive terminal of this standard cell and the positive terminal of this experimental cell. Both should be attached at point A. So both terminals, both positive terminal of standard cell and positive terminal of experimental cell, both should be connected at point A. Okay. So that means point A will be at positive potential. Now galvanometer is connected to negative terminal of the experimental cell, and then jockey is connected in series with the galvanometer. Okay, this galvanometer and jockey both are in series. So this is the circuit for measuring the EMF of a cell. This is the primary circuit. Okay, this is the primary circuit. Now let us compact this circuit. Let us compact this primary circuit. Let us say this is the potentiometer wire A, B. Okay, and here point A, we attach battery or cell whose EMF is to be measured. Plus minus, this is galvanometer and this is jockey J. Okay, so we compact this circuit like this. Now we know that potential drop here potential drop is V equal to K into L. Okay, here potential drop is V equal to K into L. We already studied in primary circuit of potentiometer that the main objective of primary circuit of potentiometer is to establish potential gradient. So if we know the potential gradient, we can calculate potential drop across this wire, which is equal to V equal to K into L. So let us apply Kirchhoff law here in clockwise direction, Kirchhoff loop law. Kirchhoff voltage law or Kirchhoff loop. Okay. So if we neglect the resistance of the galvanometer, okay, resistance of the galvanometer is neglected here because it's very small. So let us apply Kirchhoff law like this in clockwise direction. Okay. So when we move from here to here, we are going from negative to positive. So EMF of this cell be positive. Okay. Now when we move here across this wire, we see here and here potential drop is K into L. But here is positive terminal, here is negative because point A is at positive terminal, point B is at negative terminal. Okay. Point A is at positive potential, point B is at negative potential. So here potential drop is minus KL because we are going from positive to negative. According to Kirchhoff voltage law, when we move from negative to positive, EMF is taken as positive, and when we move from positive to negative, EMF is taken as, or voltage drop is taken as negative, because here we are going from positive to negative. There is some potential drop that will be measured in negative sign, and here we are going from negative to positive. That means we are going from lower potential to higher potential. So EMF will be positive. So using KVL or Kirchhoff's loop law, we get net EMF equal to E minus K into L. Okay. Now, number 1, connect the jockey at point A. Let us connect this jockey at point A. Now, at point A, L is 0. Okay, length of the potentiometer wire, L is 0 here. Okay, so L is 0 here, that means KL will be 0. So, we will get nothing here. Okay, here we will get nothing. So, let's move further. Now, remove jockey from here and let us slide jockey over this wire. Okay, let us slide this jockey over this wire like this. This pen is moving from A to B. In the same manner, we will move jockey, we will slide jockey over this wire like here, very gently, very slowly. Okay, and a point will come in the potentiometer wire where this galvanometer shows 0 deflection. Okay, when we start sliding this jockey over this wire, the one point will come where, let us say this point C is the point where galvanometer shows 0 deflection. Okay, 0 deflection. So that means at that point net EMF is equal to 0. Okay. When does current flow? Current flows from positive to negative, means higher potential to lower potential. Okay. Means higher potential to lower potential. Okay. If both potentials are same, then no current will flow. That means potential drop across this wire KL and EMF of this cell, that is E, both become equal, and when these are equal, E minus KL equal to 0. That's why a point will come here where galvanometer will show 0 deflection. Okay, so that means at that time net EMF equal to 0. So net EMF is equal to minus E minus K into L, which is equal to 0. So that means E equal to K into L. So this is how we measure the EMF of a given cell. Okay. Again I repeat, first of all let us move jockey at point A. At point A, L is 0. So at this point we will get nothing. So let us move further. We will slide jockey over the wire from A to B. And a point will come, let us say C is the point where net EMF equal to 0. Okay, means galvanometer is showing 0 deflection. No current is flowing through the circuit. So that means net EMF equal to 0. That means E minus KL equal to 0. From this equation, if net EMF is equal to 0, E minus KL equal to 0. That means E equal to K into L. Okay, that means the potential difference across this A and C becomes equal to EMF of that cell. That means both are at same potential and no current flows through the galvanometer, and galvanometer will show the zero deflection. Okay, so at this point this deflection is called as the null deflection, and the length where we get zero deflection in the galvanometer, we call that length as balancing length, and the point where we get zero deflection in the galvanometer is called as the null point. Okay, null. So this is how we measure the EMF of the cell, E equal to K into L. Okay, so let us understand how to compare the EMFs of two given cells. Now start with primary circuit. This is the primary circuit. Okay, now at point A, connect two cells E1 and E2 and be sure that positive terminals of the cells should be connected at point A. Now here E1 and E2 are both cells whose EMFs are to be compared here. Okay, so here one key K1, here is another key K2, and one galvanometer is attached, and in series a jockey is attached which is to be slide over the wire AB. Okay, so this is the diagram for comparing EMFs of two given cells. And these E1 and E2 are two given cells whose EMFs are to be measured. Now step number one, connect key 1. First of all, close this key. Okay, obviously first we have to close this key, only then current starts flowing from the positive terminal to the negative terminal of the circuit. Okay, now connect K1 and open K2. That means E1 will come in the circuit. This E1 cell will come in the circuit. And again what we do? Same like this. Number 1, connect jockey at point A. So at point A, L will be 0, we will get nothing. Then we start sliding jockey over wire AB, and the point will come where galvanometer shows 0 deflection, and at that point E1 will be equal to K into L1. This is equation number 1. Okay, like this. Here we measured the EMF of the cell, which is equal to K into L. Again same experiment will be repeated here for E1. We close this key, E1 cell will come in the circuit. So we start sliding jockey over this wire. So a point will come where galvanometer shows 0 deflection. That means E1 will be equal to K into L1. Okay. Now remove this K1 and connect K2. Now this time E2 cell will be in the circuit. Okay, E2 cell will be in the circuit. Okay. So what we will do? We move this jockey over this wire very gently, and a point will come where galvanometer shows 0 deflection, and at that point E2 will be equal to K into L2. This is equation number 2. We divide these two equations, E1 over E2, which is K into L1 divided by K into L2. This K cancels out with K, and we will get E1 over E2 equal to L1 over L2. We know the value of L1 because L1 is the length where galvanometer showed 0 deflection, and L2 is the length where galvanometer shows 0 deflection. So we know the lengths L1 and L2, so we can compare E1 and E2. Let us suppose L1 and L2 is equal to 1 by 2. So that means E1 over E2 equal to 1 by 2. So that means 2E1 equal to E2. That means EMF of second cell is twice of the EMF of first cells. So comparison is done here. Okay. So this is how we compare EMFs of two given cells. One by one, we take one cell in the circuit, then we open this key and take another cell in the circuit. Okay. So now number 3, how to measure the internal resistance of a cell using potentiometer. So this is the primary circuit of the potentiometer. Now at point A, connect a cell and whose resistance is inbuilt. But in this, we are specially asked for measuring the internal resistance of a cell. So that's why we have shown here cell along with its internal resistance. Otherwise, cell is shown like this. It is understood the internal resistance is inbuilt here. But especially in this topic, we are asked for internal resistance. So we have shown internal resistance along with this cell, and this dotted box is complete cell. Now at point A, attach resistance box here parallel to this cell. Okay. Now these two terminals are connected to galvanometer, and a jockey is connected in series with this galvanometer. Now step number 1. Take out infinite key from the resistance box. Okay. What we do? We take infinite key from the resistance box. So infinite resistance will set up here. Infinite resistance. So infinite resistance means zero current. Okay. Infinite resistance means zero current. When we set up infinite resistance here, no current will be drawn from this cell. Okay, no current will be drawn from this cell. No current will flow from here, because here infinite resistance is present. So no current will flow from the cell. Okay. So that means when we move jockey from point A to B, a point will come where galvanometer showed zero deflection, and that point E equal to K into L1. This is how we measure the EMF of a cell. This is the experiment number 1, like this. Okay. If no current is drawn from the cell, because here we didn't draw any current from the cell. We just move the jockey from point A to B, and net EMF is 0 at the point C where galvanometer shows zero deflection, and we calculated E equal to K into L. This is the speciality of potentiometer, that potentiometer measures the EMF of a cell without drawing the current of a cell, without drawing the current from the cell, this cell. Okay, we didn't draw any current from this cell, but we have measured the exact value of EMF of this cell. This is the advantage of potentiometer, that potentiometer always measures the exact value of EMF of the cell, because no current is drawn from the cell at the time of measurement. Okay, so here when we set up infinite resistance here, that means no current has been drawn from the cell. So if no current has been drawn from the cell, that means E equal to K into L1. Question number 1. Now take out step number 2. Now take out some finite key. Some finite key. Finite key means finite resistance from this resistance box. Okay, from this resistance box. Now that means finite resistance means some current will flow through the circuit. Some current will flow from positive terminal of the cell to the negative terminal. That means some current has been drawn from this cell. Okay. Now move the jockey from point A to B. So point will come where galvanometer showed zero deflection, and at that time V equal to K into L2. Why V this time? Because E was the EMF of the cell when no current is drawn from the cell. What is EMF? EMF is the potential difference of the cell, potential difference between the terminals of a cell when no current is drawn from the cell. And this is the terminal potential difference. Why? Because the current has been drawn from the cell, because due to this finite resistance set up here, some current has been drawn from the cell. So that means here this time we will write potential drop across the cell, that is V equal to K into L2. Now we know the relation R equal to E over V minus 1 into R. Here we revised this relation, that is R equal to E over V minus 1 into R. So we are going to use this relation. So R is E over V minus 1 into R. Okay, in exam you need not to derive this relation. You have to just write this relation, that internal resistance of the cell is equal to E over V minus 1 into R. Put the value of E here. Put the value of V here. We get R equal to KL1 divided by KL2 minus 1 into R. K cancels out with K. So R is L1 over L2 minus 1 into R. Now we know the value of L1, we know the value of L2, we know the value of resistance of the potentiometer wire, because it is given. So we know all the values, we can calculate the internal resistance of a cell. So this is how we measure the internal resistance of a cell. Now let us understand some questions about potentiometer. Question number 1, why we use potentiometer? Because we already had some instrument that is called voltmeter. What is voltmeter? Voltmeter is a device that measures the potential difference. That measures the potential difference. If we already have voltmeter to measure the potential difference, then why we use potentiometer? Let us understand by taking some example. Suppose we are given with a wire whose resistance is 10 ohm and 2 ampere current is flowing through this wire. Okay. So according to Ohm's law, what will be the potential difference across this wire? V equal to I into R. So I is 2 ampere, R is 10 ohm. So result is 20 volt will be the potential difference across this wire. Now using voltmeter, what we get? So let us connect voltmeter here. This is the wire having resistance 10 ohm. Let us connect voltmeter parallel to this, because voltmeter is always connected parallel to the element. So this is voltmeter and 2 ampere current starts flowing from here. But in parallel circuit we know current always splits. So that means let us say 1.5 ampere current goes to this wire and 0.5 ampere current goes to the voltmeter. Okay, because we already know in parallel circuit, in parallel combination, current always splits into different arms of the circuit. So let us say 1.5 ampere goes to this wire and 0.5 ampere goes to voltmeter. So according to Ohm's law, V equal to IR. So what is I in the wire? It is 1.5 this time, 1.5 into 10. So this is 15 volt. Okay, and by using Ohm's law, direct, the result was 10 into 2, that is 20 volt. So that means voltmeter does not give the exact value of the potential difference through a wire. So that's why we need potentiometer, because potentiometer gives us the exact value of the potential difference. Exact value. Okay. Because in case of potentiometer, no current has been drawn from the cell. No current has been drawn from the cell. You see here, we didn't draw any current from this cell, but we measured the value of EMF of this cell. But in case of voltmeter, voltmeter always draws some current. Voltmeter always draws some current. So there, that means there will be potential drop across this voltmeter. So that's why voltmeter always gives less value of the potential difference. Okay, so that's why we use potentiometer. So let us start with second question. How does the sensitivity of a potentiometer increase? So first of all, we should know what is sensitivity of a potentiometer. Sensitivity means the capability of measuring very small potential difference in the circuit. If a potentiometer is able to measure smallest potential difference in the circuit, small to small potential difference in the circuit, that means potentiometer is very sensitive. Okay. So how sensitivity of potentiometer is increased? It is increased by increasing the number of wires in the potentiometer. Increasing the number of wires in the potentiometer means 10-meter long, 12-meter long. If we increase the length of the wire, if we increase the number of the wires, the sensitivity of the potentiometer will be increased. How? Because K is V over L. If we increase the value of L, automatically K will be decreased. Okay, so that means if you are asked in exams how does sensitivity of potentiometer increase, so it can be increased by decreasing the potential gradient. Decreasing the potential gradient, how will we decrease potential gradient? By increasing the number of wires in the potentiometer. So question number 3, when does potentiometer work good? So it will work good, number 1, when terminal voltage applied by the driving cell is greater than EMF of the primary cell. So it will work good when EMF of this cell is greater than that of EMF of this cell. Okay. If it is not happen by chance, if the EMF of this cell is not greater than this cell, the null point will never come in this circuit. Okay. The null point will never come in this circuit and galvanometer will never show null deflection. Okay. Number 2, the positive terminals of the driving cell and primary cell are connected at zero end of the potentiometer. And number 2, the positive terminal of this driving cell and this experimental cell both are connected at point E. Okay. So question number For a potentiometer wire has 10-meter length. Okay, let us say potentiometer wire has 10-meter length AB. Okay, and resistance 10 ohm. 10 ohm. It is connected to a battery of EMF 11 volt. Let us say it is connected to a battery of EMF 11 volt. This is the primary circuit, and internal resistance of this battery is 1 ohm. Okay. Then the potential gradient in the wire. We have to calculate K equal to V over L. Okay. So what is V? V equal to I into R. And what is I in this circuit? I is equal to V. What is I is equal to E over R plus R. Okay. What is E here? 11 volt. What is R? 10. What is small r? It is 1 because both are in series. So 11 divided by 11, it is 1 ampere. Okay. So V will be equal to 1 into 10, which is equal to 10 volt. Okay. So what will be K? K is equal to 10 volt divided by 10 meter. So that means K will be equal to 1 volt meter inverse. Okay. This is how we calculate potential gradient in the wire. So what to do when null point does not come in the potentiometer? Okay. So first of all, a question comes here. How will you check the connections of potentiometers are right or wrong? Okay. So in order to check the connections of potentiometer, first of all, we touch jockey at point A. The galvanometer shows deflection to the left side. Let us say galvanometer shows deflection to the left side. And when we touch jockey at point B, galvanometer shows deflection toward the right side. Okay, this is how we check the connections of potentiometers. Okay, if both deflections are opposite, that means connections are right. Okay, so it means when we move jockey at point A, when we touch jockey at point A, deflection comes to left side. When we touch jockey at point B, deflection in the galvanometer is in the right direction. That means when we slide jockey over this wire from A to B, this deflection comes here, then comes here, and then it will become 0. So we will get null point at some point in the wire. Okay. So when we move toward B from the null point, obviously the deflection will move toward the right. Okay. But sometimes null point does not come. So what to do? So number 1, check connections. Positive terminals of both cells are connected at point A. Okay. If null point does not come, okay, then check your connections. The positive terminal of standard cell and positive terminal of this experimental cell, both should be connected at point A. Okay. Because if instead of positive terminal, if we connect negative here, so what will happen? When we use Kirchhoff voltage law, we will get net EMF E plus Kl. So what will happen when we move from A to B? This factor will go on increase. This factor will go on increase and null deflection will never come, because earlier when positive terminal is connected here, the net EMF was E minus Kl. So when we slide jockey from A to B, some point will come where E becomes equal to K into L, and this net EMF equal to 0, and galvanometer shows 0 deflection. But this time if you are connected wrong connection, if you connect negative terminal of the cell at point A, this time net EMF equal to E plus KL. That means this factor will go on increase, and null deflection will never come in the circuit. So first of all, check your connection that both terminals of the cells, both positive terminals of the cell should be connected at point A. Number 2, if these connections are right, still null point is not coming. Then number 2, increase the value of K, increase the value of potential gradient. How will we increase? Let us understand. Because K is equal to V over L. Now length cannot be increased because length is fixed in the experiment, because length is fixed in the equipment. Okay. So that means V equal to IR divided by L. What is R? It is rho L over A. So L cancels out with L. So answer is I rho over E. Now resistivity of the wire is also fixed. We cannot change. Area of cross section of the wire is also fixed. We cannot change. So that means in order to increase K, we can increase current in the circuit. And what is current? Current is equal to EMF of the cell divided by R plus RH. Now this EMF of the cell is also fixed. We cannot change. This resistance of the potentiometer wire is also fixed. We cannot change. So what we can change is the value of rheostat here. If we decrease this value, I will increase. What is rheostat? Rheostat is variable resistor. So we can increase or decrease resistance here. So by decreasing the value of RH, the current will increase in the circuit and the value of K will be increased. And when this value of K will be increased, so net EMF, what is net EMF? It is E minus KL. So that means when K will increase, this factor will go on increase, and at some point this will become equal to this, and both will get subtracted and answer will be 0. Okay. What will happen when K is increased? Because null point is not coming. That means this factor is not increasing. If this factor is not increasing, then this factor is not equal to 0. So that means in order to increase K, I should increase by decreasing the value of RH. When I will increase, K will increase, this factor will increase. That means at some point it will be equal to EMF of the cell, and both will be subtracted and answer will be 0. So if null point is not coming in the potentiometer circuits, you can follow these two methods. So question number 6, next question. Why should the EMF of driver cell in the potentiometer experiment should be greater than that of EMF of the cell to be measured? Obviously, if this is not so, null point will never be obtained in the circuit. That's why EMF of the driver cell should be greater than EMF of the experimental cell whose EMF is to be measured. Voltmeter reads the less value of EMF than potentiometer. Is it true? Yes. Obviously, voltmeter always reads the less value of EMF than potentiometer, because voltmeter draws some current. That means there must be some potential drop across the voltmeter. So that's why voltmeter does not give the exact value of the EMF of the cell, or it gives the less value of EMF of the cell. I have already explained you here. By this experiment, you can show that the voltmeter always reads less value of the EMF of the cell, because it draws some current from the circuit and there will be potential drop across the circuit, and it always reads the less value of the potential difference. Okay. And types of questions on the potentiometer can be asked you in the exams. Number 1, with the help of circuit diagram, explain how a potentiometer can be used to find the EMF of the cell. With the help of circuit diagram means you have to do this diagram and this explanation here. Okay. So question number 2, what is potentiometer? How is it used to compare the EMF of the cell? Means you have to write the definition of potentiometer and then you have to do this diagram and this explanation here. Third question, describe briefly with the help of circuit diagram how a potentiometer used to determine the internal resistance of a cell. That means you have to draw this diagram and this explanation in the exam. Okay, that's all. Because before doing the question, always read carefully what is asked. Okay, so this was all about what is potentiometer, what are the applications of potentiometer. In next video, we will discuss some numerical problems on the potentiometer so that you can build your confidence about potentiometer. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. If you want PDF notes, you can ask me in comment section or you can follow me on my Telegram channel. Stay happy, stay healthy.